What if we lived during the dinosaur times? Imagine stepping outside your front door, and instead of cars and sidewalks, you're standing in a swamp the size of a continent. The air is thick, wet, and impossibly loud. Something the size of a school bus is drinking from the river 50 feet away. And somewhere in the tree line, something is watching you. This isn't fantasy. This is Earth, 66 million years ago. And today, we're asking the question that sounds like science fiction, but is actually rooted in real science. What if humans had lived during the age of dinosaurs? Let's get one thing straight first. Humans and dinosaurs never actually met. Not even close. The last non-avian dinosaurs went extinct about 66 million years ago. The earliest members of our own genus, Homo, didn't show up until roughly 2.8 million years ago. That's a gap of over 63 million years. To put that in perspective, dinosaurs are actually closer in time to us than they were to the very first dinosaurs that ever existed. But science fiction has always loved to blur that line, and there's a reason for it, because the question of what would happen is genuinely fascinating. Before we even talk about predators, we need to talk about the map, because it wouldn't look like anything you recognize. The continents weren't where they are today. Much of the world's landmasses were still drifting apart from the supercontinent Pangaea, meaning the coastlines, mountain ranges, and even the oceans were arranged completely differently. A shallow inland sea cut straight through what is now North America, splitting the continent in two. If you tried to walk from modern-day Texas to modern-day Montana, you wouldn't get far. You'd need a boat. So let's actually play it out. Say a modern human, fully equipped with modern knowledge but no weapons, no shelter, no backup, gets dropped into the late Cretaceous period. What happens in the first hour? The heat hits first. Global temperatures during much of the dinosaur age were significantly warmer than today, with no polar ice caps at all. The air would feel humid and heavy, almost tropical, even far from the equator. Then comes the oxygen. Some researchers believe atmospheric oxygen levels during parts of the Mesozoic were different from today, which may have influenced how large certain animals, including insects, were able to grow. Dragonflies with wingspans over 2 feet weren't the stuff of legend. They were real. Then there's the sound. Modern nature can be loud, but Cretaceous Earth would have been on another level entirely. Deep, low-frequency calls from massive herbivores. Sudden shrieks from predators coordinating a hunt. And beneath it all, a constant hum of insects. No birdsong the way we know it, because true songbirds hadn't evolved yet. And then, if you looked up, you might see something even stranger than the sound. A shadow passing overhead that's simply too big to be a bird. Quetzalcoatlus, one of the largest flying animals to ever exist, had a wingspan close to that of a small airplane. It wouldn't be hunting you, but watching something that size glide silently above your head would be enough to freeze anyone in place. Now here's where the real danger begins. Most people picture Tyrannosaurus rex as the biggest threat, and sure, that's a fair fear. But paleontologists actually agree that a full-grown T-Rex probably wouldn't waste energy hunting something as small and unfamiliar as a human. We'd barely register as a meal. The real danger would come from smaller, faster predators. Pack hunters like Deinonychus, closely related to what inspired the raptors in Jurassic Park. These weren't slow, lumbering monsters. They were fast, intelligent, and worked in groups. A human alone, with no weapons and no knowledge of the terrain, would be exactly the kind of easy, confused prey they were built to catch. And it wouldn't just be predators you'd need to worry about. Some of the most dangerous encounters might come from animals that weren't hunting you at all. Triceratops, weighing several tons and armed with 3 massive horns, was a herbivore, but a startled or territorial one could kill a human by accident in seconds, without even meaning to. Ankylosaurus carried a tail ending in a solid bone club capable of shattering bone with a single swing. In the Cretaceous, you wouldn't just need to avoid predators, you'd need to avoid everything, because almost every animal around you would be bigger, stronger, and faster than you. But let's say you survive the first day, then what? This is where the thought experiment gets even more interesting, because surviving physically is only half the problem. The other half is food. Modern humans evolved to eat a huge variety of processed and cultivated foods. But in the Cretaceous, flowering plants were still relatively new and not yet dominant. Many of the fruits, grains, and vegetables we depend on today simply didn't exist yet. No wheat, no rice, no apples. You'd be relying on ferns, conifers, insects, and whatever meat you could catch. And hunting anything bigger than a rabbit would be nearly impossible without proper tools. Then there's disease. This is something most people never think about. Our immune systems are shaped by millions of years of exposure to specific bacteria, parasites, and viruses that evolved alongside us. Drop a modern human into an ecosystem 66 million years removed from anything our bodies have ever encountered, and the unknown pathogens could be just as dangerous as any predator. Scientists studying ancient ecosystems point out that ancient microbial life would have been completely foreign to a modern immune system, an invisible threat that no amount of survival skill could prepare you for. So if we zoom out from the individual and imagine an entire population of humans transported back, a small colony, say, dropped into this era, what would actually happen long term? Here's the twist that most people don't expect. Some scientists argue that if humans had existed during the age of dinosaurs, we likely never would have evolved into the species we are today. Our own evolutionary path was shaped specifically by the extinction of the dinosaurs. And to understand why, we need to look at the day it actually happened. 66 million years ago, an asteroid roughly 6 miles wide slammed into the Yucatan Peninsula, in what is now Mexico. The impact released energy equivalent to billions of atomic bombs, instantly vaporizing everything within hundreds of miles. But the initial blast wasn't even the worst part. The impact kicked up enough dust, ash, and debris to blanket the entire planet, blocking sunlight for months, maybe years. Photosynthesis collapsed. Plants died. Then the animals that ate the plants died. Then the animals that ate those animals died too. Scientists refer to this as an impact winter, a global collapse of the food chain, triggered in a single afternoon. That mass extinction wiped out roughly 75% of all species on Earth, including every non-avian dinosaur. But it also cleared ecological space that allowed small, resourceful mammals, the kind that had spent millions of years hiding in burrows just to survive, to finally come out, diversify, and eventually evolve into primates, and later, into us. In other words, dinosaurs didn't just fail to overlap with humans by coincidence. Their disappearance may have been the very thing that made human evolution possible in the first place. If that asteroid had missed Earth by even a few minutes of orbital timing, some researchers speculate dinosaurs might have continued to dominate for millions more years, leaving little room for mammals to grow larger, smarter, or more complex. There's a real chance that in a world without that extinction event, humans simply never exist at all. That's the strange, almost eerie irony sitting underneath this whole thought experiment. We love imagining ourselves walking among dinosaurs, but the truth might be the exact opposite of what we imagine. We're not here in spite of the dinosaurs' extinction. We might be here because of it. So the next time you see a towering skeleton in a museum, or watch some CGI dinosaur roar across a movie screen, remember this: that creature's disappearance, tens of millions of years before a single human ever existed, may be the single most important event that ever allowed you to exist at all. We didn't miss living alongside dinosaurs by bad luck. We exist because they were gone.